Episode 6 has just been filmed and that was a big one. Friend and fellow gym goer Kellie, CEO of women's charity Kairos. She's just come in to discuss her role in women's empowerment, issues which she has faced on a day-to-day and seen herself firsthand. Absolute legend for being so open with me and trusting me to go into your story. Give this one a listen. Huge story.
Yeah.
But obviously we're in the gym.
Yeah.
So, and we know each other from the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kellie, welcome to the D1 podcast.
Hi.
First time you've done a podcast.
Yes. I've never done one before.
And you've said no to all of them.
Yes.
And I'm privileged to be the first one that you've done.
Yeah. Well, I've said yes and then I've chickened out.
Okay.
And not been brave enough to do it. So I thought I have to see you again. So I will.
So you have to do this one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to tease you for the rest of mine and your lives.
Yeah.
Okay. So explain what you do.
What I do. So I am the chief exec. So I run a women's organization in Coventry that's called Kairos Women Working Together.
Yeah.
It's an organization that's been running for like 27 years.
Okay.
And we support and advocate for women who face multiple disadvantage. So essentially women who've got lots of things going on in their life, like it could be substance use, homelessness, involvement with children's services, involvement in the criminal justice system. Typically they've experienced like domestic abuse, sexual violence.
Yeah.
And all of that combined
Yeah.
means they've fallen through the cracks of all the other services who are like, oh, they're too complex, or we only deal with this issue, not all of these issues. And we would say that because of their circumstances, they're at risk of sexual exploitation, or many of them have been subjected to sexual exploitation.
Okay. So all of the people that you deal with have gone through some form of trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
All. Yeah.
And they're still going through, or
Mostly.
they're all still going through it.
Yeah. So we generally, when women come to us, they're in crisis, and like essentially they've got something big, something terrible going on in their life. So it could be that they've just been assaulted. It could be that they're getting kicked out of their flat. It could, there's some kind of crisis.
Yeah.
But then when they're with us, we don't have like a set time that women have to be with us.
Yeah.
So we journey with women like for as long as it takes. We're there for them. So women will come in, they'll come out, they'll come in, they'll come out. And we're there for them. And over time, women start to like make changes. They start to rebuild their lives. They make, they might leave an abusive partner. They might get somewhere stable to live. They might get off drugs. They might get their children back. So generally, like gradually kind of.
So you basically, you teach them how to fly again.
Well, we help them find the strength and resilience that's already inside themselves. So we don't teach, we don't tell them what to do, we don't advise. We create almost the space and like the conditions, the love and the respect and the care, and the safety of the space and the relationships that we have with them. And then that makes it like conducive to them kind of finding that strength.
Okay, so you empower them.
Yes.
So you show them that it's still there.
Yeah.
What somebody else has taken away, they didn't actually take away from you. It's still within you. We just got to slightly give you the spark again.
You wouldn't believe, like, to the outside world, these are women in Coventry that you would say, oh, she's a crackhead, or she, you know, you'd look down, not you, but like people
no, I know,
look down upon and judge and think, oh, they're like the bottom of the pile. They're not worth anything. But actually these are women that have gone through like so much, and actually just to survive like day to day, hour to hour, they have to have so much strength and resilience to actually survive. Like just to go a night homeless is actually really, really tough. So to go night, week, years in that life. So they do have that strength and they do have that resilience. It's about like them tapping into that and having the safety and the space to think, what do I actually want? Like, what do I want for my life? And then supporting them to.
Yes, you're redirecting them, aren't you? So whilst you're saying there, like to go homeless for a night, like I wouldn't have a clue what to do.
No, we did a fundraiser in October, and we did like a night walk. So a lot of like charities will do a sleep out. They'll do a sleep out where people like sleep out overnight for, to raise money for charity. But we wanted to do it a bit more realistic to what women experience when they're homeless, because women experience homelessness different than men.
Okay.
So men will rough sleep. So they'll set up a sleeping bag in a doorway or bench, bush, or whatever. But typically women, because they have to keep themselves safe, because they're so vulnerable out there, you don't typically see them like just sleeping in a doorway overnight, because it's not safe for them to do that. So what then happens is they actually go into more hidden places and spaces. So they might like set up somewhere behind the bins at the back of a hotel, like really hidden away kind of thing. Or they might stay in dodgy places because that's actually safer than being out on the street. So then what ends up happening is they're invisible. So then services and funding is set up based on like men's homelessness, not women's. Anyway, so we did this night walk because what women tend to do, another thing they tend to do is they just wander because it's not safe to stop. It's not safe to stay. So we did that for a whole night and it was actually scary.
When you're saying it's not safe for them,
Yeah.
go into that.
For like attacks. So
like men
but
attacking women.
Yeah.
So homeless women, obviously, because they're women and
and vulnerable.
and that's a better way of putting it, and they're vulnerable to essentially men. At that point, because
to perpetrators. Yeah. So the women that we support, they've all, generally, they've all experienced like childhood abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That childhood abuse has kind of stayed with them as teens. A lot of them were like sexually exploited as teenagers, abused. They get into relationships with abusive men, and they sort of have a life where it's just repeated men from like any direction. It could be the guy they use drugs with and their partner and the guy that they see every so often and a stranger and someone who buys sex from them. And so they're almost like getting victimized from left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Like it's actually quite eye-opening. It's so repeated. And then these are women who are less likely to report it to the police because they're worried about like police judging them or themselves getting criminalized or not being believed or being treated badly kind of thing. So there's like a mistrust there. So there's a barrier there. And so the true picture of like what's really going on out there in the streets is actually, I don't think it's that known really. And when we did that night walk, like obviously we're doing it for a night. We're in a group. We had phone contacts, safety contacts. If we really wanted to, we could have just gotten our cars and gone home to a warm house and a safe house kind of thing. But so even though we had all of that safety measures and everything, and it was like an artificial situation, it actually was really scary because we wandered for the whole 12 hours. Mm-hmm. So we did 12 hours out in the streets of Coventry. We did like Spawn End, Town, Hillfields, and like it was you realize how alone a woman would feel out there, like on the streets, and it's actually scary.
So when you're saying they wander at night because they feel wandering
is safer
than
stopping,
sitting down, because obviously the vulnerability of a male essentially attacking them.
Yeah.
And what do they do during the day? Because that's
good question. A lot of times they turn up at our place, absolutely knackered, having not. So when I say our place, we've got a new women's hub, which is in town at the bottom of the Burges. You know the old grammar school in town? It's like it's called the Old Grammar School. It's like a historical building near the Transport Museum. It's like a big churchy looking building.
Oh, I do know,
on the corner.
Yeah.
So we moved in there in September, and it's like a women only, lovely, trauma informed, safe space. Women can come there. That we have drop-ins. We have like other agencies, other organizations that come in, and we have a lovely garden. They can do gardening. We have courses. We have groups, and then we have support and advocacy practitioners who can support them, like for the long term, kind of open-ended support advocacy. But yeah, to answer your question, sometimes they'll show up at the women's hub, and they might not have slept literally for 2 nights, like 0 sleep. They've been wandering. They're sore. They're knackered. And they'll come in and have a kit on the couch essentially, and we'll cover them with blankets and look after them and make them a hot drink and stuff.
Like that, and it's a quick question. Is it a fulfilling job or is it more of a traumatic job?
Oh, that's such a good question. It's both.
Yeah, because that would...
It's both.
Yeah.
So I have the most amazing team of women, staff and volunteers. So we've got like, give or take, we're in the middle of kind of some changes, 12, 13 staff members is our whole team, same number of volunteers. The most amazing team of like incredible women who themselves have got their own incredible journeys in life. It's a really hard job. It's really, it is traumatic. I mean, I'm a bit removed. They do the frontline work more so than me. They have to carry a lot of that trauma. It's difficult. They get external like supervision, which is essentially like a therapist that they talk to once a month to help them deal with things. But we see so much injustice. The thing I think that makes us all struggle or makes us all mad and messes with us is like actually just the injustices that we see in the systems, like the housing system or the criminal justice system or the children's social care system, and just how it seems like different systems are set up to make things harder for these women. And yeah, it's really hard. We've lost women. I've been there 5.5 years, and there's too many names to count of women that we've lost through overdoses or just really poor health conditions because of
passed away.
Yeah, passed away. And that's really tough on the team. But you asked if it was traumatic or fulfilling. It's definitely both. Like, what keeps us going is the little miracles, like the little moments, the little light bulb moments, the moment a woman, like, it's really hard to put into words. And we really struggle when we're trying to put it in like a funder report or a funding bid. Like, how do you explain it when this is like the light bulb moment for someone, or it might just be a seedling. It might not be the moment where she's going, oh my God, I'm going to change my life from here on out. It might be just a seed. You can tell a seed has been planted so at the moment we're running a course called Own My Life course. And it's for women that have been through like coercive control, domestic abuse, exploitation. And it's about like owning their life. And yesterday, we were talking about kind of how the course is going, and Florrie, who runs the course, was saying like you can see in the women's kind of faces the cogs turning and just thinking and taking things in. So it's like those little moments. Obviously, like if someone gets flat, if someone moves into a flat, if someone gets contact with their children again, if someone's reunited with their mother, or someone's so we've got a woman actually that was with us that she wrote to us through our social media recently. And she was inspired. She was with us as a young woman not too long ago. And she's now got a place to be a midwife at university.
Oh, amazing.
And she wants to make it like her life mission to like help vulnerable women. And like she said that the way she was held and looked after and treated by Kairos was the thing that kind of made her want to go in to be a midwife and wants to help other
Yes,
women.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because you've genuinely impacted someone's life there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you got the bad end of it as well, where you see people passing away.
Yeah.
But the good will always outweigh the bad.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And we have to hold on to those moments and kind of look at things from positive mindset.
100%, yeah.
Otherwise we'd drown. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do what we do. It's tough work.
Yeah,
for sure.
there's always more negative than positive, but positive, the weight that it kind of
That's so
takes
true.
off
Yes.
The negative will always hold you down, but one positive moment will just take it all away.
That is
So-
that is exactly true. And it kind of feeds our soul.
Yeah.
And like, I would say that we're very passionate
Mhm.
at Kairos. We've all got our own personal reasons of like what drives us to work there. And we've got this like fire in our belly that we, and the fire, we're not there to like rescue women. That's not what's that's not what we're about. It really is about being alongside women. That's why we're called Kairos, women working together. So if you think of like a community of women, and we try, it's not like, oh, I'm the CEO and then there's the staff and then there's the volunteers and then there's the women we support. It's like we're just all women in it together kind of thing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what's your reason for doing it then?
Good question. So funnily enough, like 20 years ago, I actually accessed Kairos myself, like as a service user, not as a staff member.
Wow.
Yeah, briefly. So at the time, so this is going back to like my 20s.
Yeah.
My life was a complete shambles. It was a complete difficult time. So I was like in my early 20s. I'd come from like a childhood, exactly like what I described with the women that we support. So childhood abuse, domestic abuse in my childhood, lots of trauma before I even, reached teenagerhood kind of thing. When I was 17, I actually, just to go back, in my childhood, the one thing that kept me strong was school and teachers. So I had an amazing teacher in year 7 and 8, Mr. Fuchs.
Okay.
And I can't even put it into words. Like, he was a mentor for me. He was a role model for me. And he, especially being a man, was what kept me having hope that like there are good men out there. Not, not everyone's an abuser. So he was amazing. And because of him, I loved school and I did well at school. And that was kind of the thing that sort of kept me like on the straight and narrow-ish. On my last day of school, when I was 17, I just booked a ticket to England and went home and said, I'm moving to England in 6 weeks. I had been born here, moved to Canada when I was 5, and I'd spent my whole childhood missing Coventry. People are like, you're mad. But I was like, as soon as I'm growing up, I'm going back to Coventry. As soon as I'm grown up, I'm going back to Coventry. So I thought I was grown up at 17, came here, and my life pretty much imploded. I had no role models. I had no, I didn't even have like abusive family situation to keep me in some kind of control. I just went completely off the rails, really. And I experienced like grooming, sexual exploitation in Coventry with like a group of men. And then just it went from bad to worse, really. Then my whole life I'd kind of been taught that a woman's worth is through her sexual value to men. So that's how you mean anything in this world, is if you're pretty, if you're attractive, if you can please men, if men like you, kind
If you're
of
showing
thing.
skin.
Yeah. So that was me. My whole life revolved around trying to get male attention in any way that I could, because to me that was love, but it was actually harming me. But I didn't kind of see that at the time. So then I was really vulnerable to men who wanted to take advantage of me. So it went like that.
Can I just say you're very brave just talking about it?
Oh, thank you.
Massively brave.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously alcohol was involved, drugs was involved, it's all kind of a mix. And then I ended up, it's very bizarre. I ended up pregnant, had my first child. I was in a relationship, there was domestic abuse. And then I ended up in the sex industry, like the commercial sex industry. So stripping and prostitution, to make money because we were in debt, but it was still that chasing validation. And I kind of had reached a point where I was like, well, everybody just uses me anyway, so I might as well
make money off
it. And I'd brainwashed myself to think that I was the one in control. I was the, these are the idiots that are paying for it, and I'm the one in control here. But that was a lie.
Was that with your partner?
My ex, yeah.
So he
He
was
was
aware
with me, yeah.
Oh, so he was a part of the whole
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think, to be fair to him, based on how I was acting at the time, I don't think he would have known that I was kind of being harmed. Because at the time, my front was, I love it. I'm making money. I'm getting my nails done. I'm getting my hair done. Like, I look good. And
On the outside, you look on the outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it isn't until you're out of that trauma that you then look back and you're like, I was being harmed. Like I was just self-harming in a way. Because I didn't feel like I was worth, and I was kind of reliving traumas from my childhood. So it was around then I wasn't in that relationship anymore. I got in another relationship that was a million times worse. Really, really like sadistically, violently abusive. So by that point, I didn't even have my kids in my care. I had kind of run off with this other man, again, drugs, blah, blah, blah.
Where were your kids?
With my
with first husband.
Yeah, with their dad. And I was just, again, off the rails. Kind of leaving my kids, again, I had brainwashed myself that I was doing the right thing because he could give them a stable life. But again, looking back, like it caused so much damage to them. And I hold my hands up to that now. But in my mind at the time, I was like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Like he can look after them. They don't need me. I'm bad.
Is that because of the addiction?
Well, it was just where I was at the time. Like I didn't have any self-worth whatsoever. So I just had kind of made up my mind that motherhood's not for me. Like I'm not a good mother. So they're better off without me kind of thing. And I think, again, looking back, I think that's like a self-protection, like cutting, put it away, cut it off kind of thing, because I wasn't being a good mom. That's the truth. I wasn't being a good mom. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. Like that's took years for me to be able to.
It's very hard for a mom to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that, if you had have asked me that even 5 years ago, I would have been defensive. Me and my older kids have had to do a lot of healing between us for me to get to that point of admission. So around that time, actually, that's when I started accessing services. So I accessed like Coventry Haven domestic abuse service, accessed Kairos because they were running like a kind of confidence building course kind of thing. And it wasn't one single thing, but it was like a buildup of things that got me on my path to recovery, if we want to call it that. It was partly services. They did play a part. So
let me just turn that on. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So knowing that there was like a domestic abuse service, that domestic abuse was a thing. I wasn't crazy that thinking that I experienced that. Like it is a thing, a recognized thing. The fact that they were services just for women and that I could be with other women, that was really profound actually for me. And then somehow, and I actually don't know the answer to this, somehow deep and buried within myself, I started to build, find myself. I don't know how to explain it, but like find that inner strength. So it started with such small and seemingly insignificant things. So I got a cash in hand job selling ice cream in town on an ice cream stall a couple days a week.
Yeah.
And for a few hours on the ice cream stall, I was me again. Right? Like I wasn't all these wild things. I was just like smiley Kellie with the public, interacting, selling ice cream.
Gave you confidence.
Yeah, like just cracking jokes with families, that kind of thing. And it built my confidence, and it built my self-esteem, or it started to. Then I went to a jack of potato stand.
Amazing. Yeah.
So these little things kind of along the way, going to these like confidence building courses and stuff like that, being with other women. And then a big factor for me that kind of took me further down my path was I saw a job advertised for a trainee probation officer.
Mhm.
And it was like this big, massive recruitment thing where they put you through university, you get paid. Like it's a real, at the time, it was like a really big program kind of thing. And I read the advert for it and I was like, I could do that. Like I could help other people kind of thing. I've always spent my whole, even through everything I've been with, that was something I had always done, helped other people, like whether that was friends, my dad, the partners. I was always trying to help other people.
Mhm.
So I don't know, I got it into my head that I should apply for this job. And I applied for it. I'll never forget. I applied for it. Everything that could possibly go wrong against me went wrong. Okay. So I hand wrote the application form. My daughter at the time spilled my coffee on it. It was my only copy. I
Yeah.
had to like try and dry it out. It
Yeah.
had coffee stains
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. You had to give an example of how you had like provided support to a client before. Well, I didn't have that example. So I wrote about supporting my friend with a crack addiction
Yeah.
and like what it's like to be friends with someone with a crack addiction who's like trying to battle it. And that is literally the story I told in my application form. Then I went to the post office to post it with like tracking. And when it was supposed to be going, my tracking was saying there's no trace of it. And I flipped out. It was the last day, the closing day. I was crying. I went to the post office. I was bawling my eyes out. I was like literally crying and saying, this is my only chance in life. This is my chance, kind of thing. And they found it. It had slid behind the thing with all the letters and stuff in it. It
In the
was
post box.
in the post office. And the post, I'll never forget this. This was on West Hill Road. The postmaster lady or whatever they're called, postmistress, she took such pity on me because I was crying so much and saying this is my only chance in life that she got the girl who worked there to drive all the way to I think it was Northampton to hand deliver
Oh,
the
wow.
letter to get it there by the closing date.
Wow, that's...
It's crazy, isn't it?
And you got the job, right?
Out of like thousands of people.
Wow.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, at the time, I was poor. I was like completely poor. This is really bad to admit, but it's a long time ago. I actually shoplifted my suit to go to the interview. Like
Wow.
I was actually in a shoplifted suit at my probation officer interview, which I know is insane.
Jeez.
But I was so determined. Like I just got laser visioned in my mind that this was gonna be it. This was gonna change my life.
I love this. I love it. Could you see that this is going to change? This is going to, and so in your head, you just knew this was going to change your
like
life.
it had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, and like I probably would have walked to Northampton to hand deliver it if I had to. I was so fixated on it. And it was loads of rounds. It was like psychological test, group test interviews, like it was hard to get in back then. It's not now, but it was really hard to get in. I got in. Mind you, I was still in the relationship with the horrendously abusive criminal man. So I was kind of having a bit of a double life at the beginning where I was kind of like teetering between these two worlds. I was going off to the university, to the library, writing essays, but then coming home to like a drug dealer and getting battered kind of thing. Like, it was this double life. And I still was coming out of in the edges of the sex industry as well at the same time. So it was all a bit mixed up. And then one day he beat me up so badly, like so very badly. And I was completely swollen, bruises, perforated my eardrums. I was like basically deaf. I couldn't hear out of my ears. It was horrendous. And I did the typical thing of like slapping on loads of makeup to cover it up and coming up with excuses of why I was bruised. Went to work, like where I was doing the training. And I remember I couldn't hear. We were in like a lecture and I was like, my hearing's gone. It was like down a tunnel kind of thing. It was awful. And then I was in the hallway at the probation office, and there was a domestic violence poster. And I can remember having, honestly, you could probably say it's like a spiritual experience. I don't know how to explain what it was. It's like I looked at the poster and the whole world around me stopped, and it was like kind of thing. And I seen a vision of my life as literally a path going in two directions. And if I stayed on the path that I was on and went in this direction, I ended up dead, and I could see it. I was going to be killed. That is like the vision that I saw. And then if I went on this path and worked hard at my studies and worked hard at my career and left him and focused on my kids, and it was like it all laid out in front of me, like a vision of like what I had to do. And it was almost saying like, you need to choose. Like, you can't be playing both sides anymore. You've got to make a choice. You've got to go this way, or you've got to go this way.
Pick a lane, stay in there.
Yeah. And that was the moment. That was my final kind of like light bulb moment. So
that's unreal. I believe that is unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So then I stuck with my career became my focus, rebuilding my relationship with my kids. I got with a lovely, beautiful human of a man that I'm still with. We've been married 20 years, that is not abusive. Like, I mean, even how he came into my life was like bizarre. He was sat on the curb outside my house.
Wait, we'll go into him in a minute, because there's so much I still want to ask you. So one of the questions I always ask, and with more business-minded people, is the importance of education. And I think business people, and me being a business person, I typically find that that's wasted years of my life.
Yes, I've heard that.
But this is such a good perspective, because you're showing a complete different element of it. You're like, okay, cool. So what they're teaching you is irrelevant, but the role which they're playing in my life was massive.
Yeah.
Because up until 17, you said, I think it was 17, like this Mr. Fuchs was the man.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes, in my daughter's eyes, like Dada is the man. But this Mr. Fuchs is your version of me.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that people understand that. Like, that's such an important role for I don't want to say they are teachers, but like a teacher to play in a child's life. Yeah. Like, that's massive.
Yeah. It could be, and I think it could be a teacher, it could be a youth worker, it could be a community member. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
like a peer figure.
Yeah.
Like a peer figure.
And now that you say that, I had a similar experience in my training as a probation officer. So my like assessor, my guy, he was amazing as well. His name was Terry, and he knew everything that was going on in my life, and he gave me like flexibility, and he'd try and give me pep talks, and he would tell me like I deserve better. And, you know, so he was another like positive male role model, at that difficult time as well. And education did, like you said, I don't know if it's not necessarily the education, it's the structure of like, it played an important part for me because it was a way for me to, well, when I was young, it was an escape. Like, school was my safe space.
Yeah, nothing's happened to you.
Yeah, so school was safe. Teachers were safe. They were parent figures to me. And then when I got my like degree and my career, that became kind of like my equivalent, I guess, safe space. But I will say, I have to be careful because I can veer into the like workaholic situation as well. Like I'm the one problem I've got lots of problems, but one of the problems I still battle with now is like perfectionism and imposter syndrome. Like not thinking I actually deserve to be, like, sometimes I'm like, how am I the CEO of a charity? Like, I'm just like that girl. Like how like if they knew the real me, I'd get sacked in an instant. Like, I get all these mad thoughts that I don't deserve to kind of be doing what I'm doing.
But you do, though.
Yeah, I know.
Because, like, are you spiritual?
Yeah.
So do you believe that the one, or God, or whatever you want to call him, teaches you lessons to get to where you are today?
Yeah.
So you are who you are now.
Yeah.
So who you believe you are that you was in the past, that's not you. Like you
Yes.
are who you are today because of who that person is.
Yes.
So imposter syndrome with you kind of, I get why you're saying it, but it doesn't really hold weight
Yeah.
because you are you.
Yes.
Like if
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to ask you about what
Yeah.
you were just talking about there is, like you said the last time that your really abusive partner, he beat you to a pulp.
Mm-hmm.
Like why, two questions. Why would something like that occur?
Mm-hmm.
Being one of them, like, is it just a matter of he's had a bad day and he's
Mm-hmm.
using you as a punching bag,
Mm-hmm.
or was it like a trigger? Or was it always a trigger?
Yeah.
And the second part of the question is because being a gym owner, we hear a lot of that.
Yeah.
And we hear a lot about people with addiction and women going through issues and stuff like that.
Mm.
How do you deal with that? Because we're very much, obviously we're not trained for it.
Yeah.
So we just give a human perspective. Look, you're better than that.
Yeah.
Let's try and get you away from it.
Yeah.
What's your approach on that? Because
Yeah.
that's a good thing just for me to know.
Yeah. Good questions. So one thing just off the back of what you said last, if you haven't already, Coventry Haven Domestic Abuse Service, so not Kairos, but we're partners with them. They have a scheme called like domestic abuse ambassadors, and the whole point of it is for people from businesses, people from like gyms, etc. Someone kind of does the course and becomes a domestic abuse ambassador, like in the place where they, like their community, or could be their church, or that kind of thing. So I would recommend someone from here sign up to that and do that. That would be worthwhile. But to go back to like why, my God, I mean, I don't know that I can effectively explain why, even though I've got personal experience of it as a child, as a victim, as a manager of like a probation officer. I had a caseload of domestic abuse perpetrators. So I met many, 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 and my job was to assess them and to assess their risk. And then now, obviously, I work with women who are victims as well. So that's been throughout my whole life. And I don't have the answer. What I will tell you is it's about power and control. So it's not about managing anger. In fact, research has shown that like men who abuse women, if they go on anger management courses, they actually become more risky because they actually learn techniques that better enables them to manipulate and harm and abuse.
The abuse, yeah.
Yeah, which sounds like weird, but the research has shown that. So it's about power and control. They want power and control over a woman. The violence, and even before the violence, the controlling behavior, the isolation, all the different kind of tactics and techniques that men and I'm saying men. I will say, obviously, men can be victims too,
course,
and women can be perpetrators,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
Predominantly.
statistically like men on women predominantly. So I'm going to use that. So, men will use the threat of violence. So it might be they've never even touched the woman. All it might take for them is to punch the pillow beside her, or punch the wall, or kick the dog, and that might be actually enough to keep a woman under control, and it never even escalates to violence. So it's all about power and control. And there's so many different ways in which men kind of inflict that on women. It's going in a mood because she's going out. No, you go out, I'm not bothered. But he is bothered, and he's going to make your life miserable because you're going out, and eventually you're like, you know what, it's not, no, it's all right, girls, I'm not gonna come out tonight. And then you eventually change your behavior, and you start doing what he wants you to do, and it's a slow
To suit him.
drip.
I would say girls are good at doing that as well there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It's these manipulation tactics, and then but it's like en masse. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't men who genuinely, I guess, maybe have like a real issue with like rage and controlling their rage. It could be because of addiction. It could be their own experiences of abuse. But in my experience, and like I said, being a victim, being a child of a victim, seeing victims, seeing perpetrators, it's about power and control. Sometimes it's rarely, sometimes it's like a couple, they're both gobby, they both have had too much to drink, an argument escalates and
Yeah.
turns to violence. But
Yeah.
that's very different
Mhm.
than using violence
To get your way.
to get your way,
Yeah.
and to belittle and kind of keep a woman below you.
So do you think that's because the man has more issues in himself? So like maybe he's faced some form of trauma
Yeah,
that he doesn't know how to deal with it. So
Yeah.
he turns to violence.
yeah, I think
And
so.
then like what you're saying, like control, it becomes more of a possessive thing. Like I can't be without you, so you have to stay here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep you here one way or another.
Yeah. I think that not every man or woman that's grown up seeing domestic abuse goes on to be a victim or an abuser.
Mhm.
But if you speak to every victim or abuser, they have probably
Had something.
experienced it growing up. Like
Mhm.
they've seen their dad treat their mum that way.
Yeah.
And so the girl tends to learn, well, that's how girls deserve to be treated.
Okay.
The boys tend to learn that's how women deserve to be treated.
Mhm.
And then they go and reenact that in their relationships.
Do you get many people that are coming and just make stuff up? Like they'll lie about it.
No.
So the people that are coming to you are literally at their end.
Yeah, for sure. I know there's been research done on like false allegations and false accusations.
Mhm.
Statistically, well, I know it around sexual violence, like it's less than I think it's less than wait, I can't do maths, 0.01%. Like it's so actually statistically rare when
Mhm.
you look at all of the reports that are made.
Yeah.
And then like which ones are proven to be like false or malicious.
Mhm.
It's actually very rare. Why on earth a woman would want to put herself through reporting to the police, the humiliation, the stress and all of that? Sure, there might be like the rare vindictive
Mm.
woman, but it's really rare. And I heard something the other day. I've gone on to sexual violence, but a man statistically has far more chance of being raped by another man
Mhm.
than of a woman falsely accusing him of rape.
Yeah.
Like, I forget the numbers, but it's like huge.
So what about all these footballers? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
What about all these like footballers and stuff then, like the celebrities that all of a sudden have like, they get accused of something and then it turns out nothing has happened.
Well, I don't think it's turned out nothing has happened. The burden to prove in this country, the criminal justice system, if you actually look into it, the criminal justice system is set up where in this country, rape is essentially legalized.
Legalized?
Yeah. So I'll try and put it into, I'm bad with the numbers,
Okay.
but I don't have the exact numbers.
Yeah, and we don't got to be accurate. It's just generally.
Yeah. So of all the people, women predominantly, that get raped, only a tiny proportion of them will ever actually go to the police and report it. 99% of them, or 96% of them, or whatever it is, are like, oh my God, this was traumatic. I'm never telling anyone. Like,
And they don't tell anybody.
Yeah. They're just dealing with it kind of in their own way.
Why is that then?
Because of shame, because of stigma, because of fear of being judged, of not being believed, of having to have all your laundry aired in public. The criminal justice system is set up to protect rapists. And I know that sounds dramatic, but stay with me. Okay. So only a tiny proportion report it. Of those that report it, the burden of evidence for the police to even take it to the CPS is majorly high. You could literally have.
What do you mean?
So the police have to take it to the Crown Prosecution Service to get permission to charge the alleged offender. They have to have what they believe is like a clear-cut evidence, nothing against the woman in her past. So she's never been through counseling. She's never been through mental health issues. She's never been through her own traumas. She's what they call a reliable witness.
Yeah.
There needs to be evidence. They have to feel like they've got like a really solid case to even phone it through to the CPS, send it through. So of that tiny percentage that report it, a huge percentage never even make it to the CPS. The police say, not enough evidence, no further action, NFA. Wow. a tiny, we're on like microscopic now, percentage, they'll go, you know what, we'll take it to the CPS. So then they take it, sorry, I'm leaning away from the microphone. They'll take it to the CPS. And once again, only a tiny proportion of this tiny proportion of this tiny proportion, the CPS will say, yes, go ahead and charge him.
Wow.
Then,
Is that because of money or is that because of the way that it's set up, like you're saying?
I mean, I think it's just the justice system has just gone bad. I don't know the actual, you know, I think it's probably inherently misogynistic. But like, it's just not set up right. I don't really know the answer. So then of that tiny proportion of that tiny, okay, so it's going to go to, he's been charged. It's going to go to trial. Then there's another point, case gets dropped, loads of them. The victim, she's waited through all of this. It takes months, years, even. She finally gets the word, yes, he's been charged. It's going to go to court.
Yeah.
She could be waiting up to 5 years for that court case. 5 years. So imagine you've moved on with your life. You've got married. You've had kids.
Well, can you move on with your life?
How? Exactly. Good question. How can you move on with your life? You're just in limbo. You're
just not closing the chapter.
Yeah. So imagine waiting, I don't know, 2 years. And then they say, you know what? Actually, we've reviewed the case. It's dropped.
Oh.
That happens. So then let's say a case finally makes it to court. It is such a tiny percentage of the tiny percent. Obviously, you get the thing. And then the conviction rate is like 3%.
Wow.
So these, going back to the footballers and the example that you bring, it doesn't, just because it got dropped at any point along that process, it doesn't mean they didn't do it. It means that there wasn't enough evidence to satisfy the court. And the system is set up so that anything can be used against a victim. So I will give you a real life example of someone I met in October. She was raped by her partner in her sleep. So she was like asleep and woke up to find him raping her. She went to the police. She reported it. She did that. Somewhere along the line, they looked into her past or something and found that when she was a child, she sleepwalked, like lots of, you know, kids do. So somewhere on her GP notes or somewhere on a questionnaire or something, it was that she had done sleepwalking. His defense was able to use that. They got a without ever meeting her, got a psychiatrist to write a report to say that it's plausible that she slept-walked her way into having sex with him. Therefore, it was consensual. Although, how can you actually consent if you're sleepwalking? I don't know. But
she's asleep. I don't get that.
It blows my mind. So they used this tiny little thing, and they will use anything. So they'll use, let's say you've had loads of text arguments with your boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, where they're like, for God's sake, you're such a liar. You're always lying.
Yeah.
That would be used against you.
Yeah.
You know, anything like, oh, you're so vindictive. You're always trying to get back at me. You know, and the things that people say in arguments.
Wordplay.
Yeah, that can get used against you. If you went to counseling when you were a teenager in school, that will get used against you. They used to be able to get all your notes, your counseling notes from 25 years ago, but they've put a stop to that now. There was a campaign to stop that.
That's unreal.
Yeah. So when I see those kind of cases, I'm not, it's so rare for there to be a false allegation. My thinking is, yeah, that's true. Like he did that. And so I would never like platform them again, kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like in my mind,
I
they're
understand.
guilty.
Yeah. That's unreal though. I don't understand why that's so difficult.
It's unreal in this country. Like it's really scary.
Do you think, and I know we've gone a little bit off topic there, but do you think that because how hard it is to convict and the punishment that comes with it is, in all honesty, is like it's laughable.
Yeah.
do you think if like you were to put something in like capital punishment, like if you get convicted, you're going or your bits are going?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good question.
yeah. Do you think that if it was something more like that,
Like more of a deterrent?
yeah, like absolutely, like look, if you have been convicted of that and it's beyond reasonable doubt,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate, you're getting a lethal injection, or you can choose. You're gonna get an injection, or your bits are gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that something like that was to come into play, which I know is very, very far out there? Do you think that would act as more of a deterrent?
Such a good question. I mean, just for the record, I don't believe in like capital punishment, but I think I'd like it all the time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't actually believe in it when my sensible brain is thinking, but then when I read articles or
people messing with kids or something like that,
yeah,
like,
I'm just like, throw them off a cliff. Like, they're guilty. I don't care. Throw them off a cliff. So how I feel about it and then how I want society to respond to it are two different things. Do I think harsher punishment? It's a real tough one. I do think
minimum 20 years in prison.
Yeah, I don't. That's such a good question.
Not one of these things where you get 20 years but you serve 2.
Yeah,
like you're going to serve 20 years in prison.
I think it's got to be not laughable because it's not funny, but it's an absolute joke for the victims that like someone could get 2 years, 3 years, 4 years for, ruining someone's life essentially.
Yeah, well, you hear all this stuff about like grooming gangs left, right, and center, and then when you see some of the, and I never look into it massively, but you look at like the headline, total of 100 years in prison, but there's 27 of them.
Yeah.
So the 100 years in prison, they've got like 4 years each, and they're going to be that's it. So they're gonna do it again. There's nothing stopping them doing it.
And I don't know the answer because having been on the rehabilitation side as a probation officer, my experience of like sex offenders was they are not going to change.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, they don't tend to even admit to their crime. Like they maintain their innocence. So it's not even like there's any work you can do with them to try and like rethink, reprogram kind of thing. Yeah, like most of them.
It's normal.
Most of them are like really lovely. I mean, when I ended up leaving probation, I just reached a point, a switch went off in my head where I was like, I cannot talk to another sex offender about the weather or what he got up to at the weekend, like ever again. I was doing it because I wanted to protect the victims. Like I saw my job as one of the people that does the hard work with these gross people, sorry, not gross people, but what they've done is gross.
Yeah, I think that makes them gross people.
Yeah. I could kind of compartmentalize that and think, well, okay, I'm doing it to protect the public. I'm doing it to help future victims. But then something just went off in my head and I was like, how am I doing this? I don't know how I'm chit-chatting about the Godiva Festival with a like child rapist. What am I doing? Like, I can never do it again. And I literally just had to stop.
Is that how normal it is? When you're talking to them, that's how normal it is?
Yeah, because they're normal men. And this is interesting, I think. When I going all the way back to when I was a trainee, the very first time I like came face to face with like a child sex offender, I was going in the room with like a more experienced officer. And in my head, I was expecting stereotypical creepy old man, like weirdo, like, the stereotype. I walked in and he was just a normal, young, good looking, clean cut guy, muscle, anybody that you would see in the gym here. Like, you know what I mean? Like just a normal guy. And I remember there and then I was like, oh, wow. Like, this is not what, it really challenged kind of my stereotyping. And then the more and more I worked there, that's what I learned. All of these men, these domestic abusers, rapists, child rape, they're just normal men. Like the thing that's in the news this week about the husband that drugged his wife and had all the men over. Have you seen that?
I haven't, but I did see something similar to this, that there's like some massive club where they drug their wives and they abuse their wives and they take a picture of their eye open or something.
Yeah. So essentially the first thing that came out about that was in France. I'm going to say her name wrong, but a French woman who's husband for years, for basically throughout their whole marriage, had been drugging her and inviting men from all around France, essentially, to like come and rape her. And there was like a network of them. There was, I think, 90 something of them convicted.
Wow.
And they were men, postmen, teacher, just normal men. Again, not to look at monsters. She allowed the case to be kind of public. And that was like when this first kind of came into the, I think, consciousness of like, this is going on. Obviously, it's been going on for a long time. It's just, I think the internet makes it more like men can network and organize it. So then this thing that you talked about was in March, somebody, I forget who, investigated, but they found this website on the dark web that is devoted to men who drug women, typically their girlfriends, their partners, their wives, and have either they rape them or they have others join and rape. And like you said, they even have a thing where they do an eye check and it's like to prove she's out of it. They do this roll her eyelid up to show that her eyes are rolled into the back of the head. And that's like part of the excitement of the whole thing. It's disgusting. But what they found, I think I said this before, in March alone, there were 62 million hits.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was you
It
that
was
was
you.
telling me.
Yeah,
It was you actually, yes, it was you that
It was
told me
me
now,
that
I
told
remember,
you,
yeah.
Which is like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Right? Mind-blowing.
I remember it was you that told me,
That's one website out of probably thousands of websites.
Okay, what do people like that get out of it?
I have no idea. So
is it a power thing again?
Yes, it's all about power. 100%, it's got to be about power. The thing that's in the news this week is a British woman, her husband, I think 11 men. But what's different this time is the media has been allowed to like name them and show their pictures. So it's been all in the news this week, and because we can see them, we can see what they look like. There's a CEO of a small-time football club. There's a paramedic. There's like normal guys. So that is my point, that it's not some monster boogeyman. It's your mates. It's your, there's a saying, sorry, I'm going to answer your question, but there's a saying like every woman knows a woman who's been raped. How is it that no men who are rapists?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like someone's doing the raping.
Yeah, cool. Well,
and we all know, like, every woman I've ever spoke to has either been sexually abused, sexually assaulted herself, or knows close people that have.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
And how you say that, like every woman knows someone, knows another woman that's happened to. It's absolutely right. Because even if you look at, like, for example, like myself, I know endless amounts of people, but it's something that you just wouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
So it's not like a guy's coming to you saying, "Oh, I just did this."
Yeah. So they're not going to admit it.
So
to each other.
is it a fetish that they've got?
I mean, I think that is a fetish scene thing, like a fetish thing. Yes. My theory on it, without going into like too much of a tirade, is that like
no, go into it.
Well, I think with the internet and with pornography, I think that it's escalated, like men's access to 100 billion images and videos that, like, in the olden days of pornography, you had to sneak to the shop and, get a magazine off the top shelf and be embarrassed and go to the till and buy it, or you had to get one off of your mate or whatever, or a video got passed around. It wasn't mass consumption of pornography. So now men can
everywhere.
And I say men, children, boys, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds are on their phone accessing pornography now. And the world's your oyster, right? Like you can watch anything, you can see anything, like the most grotesque violence, the most grotesque, bestiality, child abuse. Like there's no limit to, dead people. Like there's no limit to what you can access now basically at the push of a button.
Yeah.
And they've shown like it's addictive, like it's the same whatever as like cocaine or whatever else does to your brain. Like it is addictive.
Dopamine hit.
Yeah. And so young men aren't aroused by like what they would have been in a normal time, in a normal relationship to kind of thing. And so they have to keep seeking more and more.
The next
and more.
hit.
Yeah.
So do you think that's because they're sexualized from such a young age?
Yeah, I think so. And I think young girls are also consuming pornography. You know, it's not just boys. And young girls are learning from that. Oh, that's how I'm supposed to be. Like, that's how I'm meant to please men. And, you know, going back to my childhood, like, and growing up, like, my worth is being choked and being slapped and being kicked and being abused. Like, that is like normal sex amongst teenagers now. And I'm not a prude. Like, I'm not coming at this from a, like, you know, thou shalt not sin kind of perspective. Like, I'm not a prude. Like, what two consenting, you know, truly consenting, mutually, you know, what people want to do between themselves, I guess, is fair game. But I feel like you have to question, where is those things? Like, where are you getting those ideas? Like, how are you getting those ideas, kind of thing? And the things that you know, teachers and youth workers are reporting that they're hearing from, again, like 8-year-old girls, 9-year-old girls, 9-year-old boys, kind of thing. You know, they are accessing like hardcore violent pornography. So imagine what that is, you know, combined with the crack of phones and everything else. You know what I mean? Like, imagine what is actually happening in their little brains. It's really scary.
Do you think that parents need to have more responsibility then, or take more responsibility? Because, like, obviously, like, as you have an 8-year-old daughter, I've got a 9-year-old daughter. Thankfully, touch wood, and long may it continue, because I think I'd freak out if she ever asked me. She has no idea.
Yeah.
But I would also, don't say that.
I know. Sorry.
But one, like, she goes to a very small school, which I think plays a good part. And two, we're very aware of what she's exposed to.
Yeah.
So online, the people she hangs around with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're controlling.
Yeah.
But it's very much like, you know,
involved.
Involved. So if she's on her iPad, like, you would your ears over there. If you might watch TV, but your ears over there still, because you want to make sure it's cool.
Yeah.
So, and they do get the impression that YouTube will give to a child, they will rub off. I remember with my daughter when she was younger, there used to be this girl called Adelie. Her YouTube channel is Adelie. And but then there was these other...
A for Adelie.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. But so my daughter's name is Saya, but when Saya would watch Adelie, she would act like Adelie. So we had to ban Adelie. We were like, well, that's it, you can't get it. Like, because you're acting like her. So when you want to be a brat, you're being a brat like Adelie. If you want to be a brat, cool, but be a brat like you know how to. Don't just copy someone else. So Adelie got banned. And then, like, a couple of months later, we thought, okay, reintroduce it again to see how she acts. And then before you know it, her actions are acting like Adelie again. So if they're exposed to it online in the way in which you're saying, like, even someone as, like, you know, as kind of, I'd say, concealed as my daughter is, it would be normal. Because once you see something once, like, if my child was to see me hit my wife, for example, once, okay, that's normal. Daddy hits mum all the time, you know? Or vice versa, if mummy hits dad, mummy hits dad all the time, you know? It becomes normal.
Yeah.
So, but because they're not around that, they understand, like, okay, that doesn't work. So you kind of, that's what I'd say. Do you think it's more on parents to say, take more of an active role in what your child is doing, and then all of this kind of escalated sexualization stops?
Yes and no. So I think everything that you've just described is ideal. Like, I think that's the starting point. Like, if kids, you know, I'm trying to do the same thing with my kids. I'm not saying they can never be on their phones, they can never be on their iPads. Like, we're pretty lenient. Again, like you, like, I'm aware. I check their history. Like, I check up on them. I'm listening. I'm seeing what their reactions are to things. And I think you're right. If they've got this, like, stable foundation around them, that's going to have a positive influence. However, what I would say is that's not going to stop them from getting exposed. So I think at some point, through their friends, like, even if it's not in our homes, some way they will get get exposed.
Of course,
And it's at that point where I think, I hope, again, I'm no expert on parenting, right? If you've got good communication. So I think it's important to be upfront with your kids about, you know, you don't have to, like, traumatize them, but there's nasty stuff on the internet. You know, there's stuff that's not good for kids. There's stuff, you know, there's grown-up stuff, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. If you ever see that stuff, come and talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, you won't be in trouble. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
The
Kind of thing.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bit that's important. I
Okay.
think if we say, if you see anything on there that's bad, you're not allowed to watch it. It's going to be like when you tell kids like they're not allowed to smoke or they're not allowed to drink or they're not allowed to
They're
go
gonna
out.
go and do it.
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
want to do it, kind of thing. Whereas I think, well, I'm hoping, again, this is my first rodeo with like, because my older kids are too old for this kind of stuff, is like, I'm hoping that they can come and speak to me
Yeah.
about it, kind of thing. And yeah, have a conversation. But my son is 12 and we are very open with him. Like we've talked about pornography. We've talked really open about pornography. I've never actually put it to him. Like, have you looked? He's 12. He's got a loft bedroom. He's got an Xbox. He's got a phone. My guess is he's looked up something.
Yeah.
That's going to be my guess.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to get into it with him about like, have you, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell me the truth kind
Yeah.
of thing. I'm just coming from the point that if you probably have, and even if you haven't, you will at some point. That's natural almost, like curiosity. People get curious.
Yeah.
Boys get curious, hormones, whatever. So then we've had like really open conversations about what you see in pornography is like exciting.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to lie, it's exciting to watch, but it's not real. Like, that's not how real people who really love each other, or even people who like are attracted to each other, that's not how like real people do it. That's acting.
Yeah.
And they do extreme things to get clicks, because obviously kids
Yeah.
understand about clicks and
Clickbait,
clickbait
yeah.
and everything. So I could explain it to him in that way. Like, that's to get clicks, that's to get views, that's to get reactions. It's not how like a guy and a girl who really fancy each other, or a guy and a girl who love each other are going to be with each other, kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
try and keep it like, I'm not like holier than thou, like, oh, this is terrible kind of thing.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 final questions for you.
Sure.
What role do you think fitness has played? Because I know you from the gym.
Yeah.
And your journey is honestly, it's unreal. Like, you've lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
You lost a lot of weight.
I've lost
So-
nearly 11 stone.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's unreal. What role do you think fitness has played in, one, building your confidence?
Mhm.
Take this gym out of it. I'm
Yeah,
just talking about
just-
fitness in
yeah.
general. 1, building your confidence, and 2, giving you self-worth.
Yeah. So it's a huge part for both of those things. I really, really wish that I had have started the gym earlier in my weight loss journey, because my weight loss was through like calorie deficit. It was through dieting, like strict dieting, rather than coming to the gym. I kept saying to myself in my head, I'm too fat to go to the gym. I'm too fat to go to the gym. I'm too embarrassed to go to the gym. Like, I'll go to the gym when I'm skinny. I'll go to the gym when when I'm slimmer, kind of thing. And I so regret that now, because like what I've learned through being like part of a gym is actually people in the gym aren't going to judge someone who's trying to better themselves.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? If I see a really overweight person in the gym, I'm like, yes, like, go for it. Like, you're awesome. You're amazing. Like, you know, well done, kind of thing. I've got nothing but admiration for that. And I think most people who actually go to the gym feel the same way. Like, there might be a rare idiot or something that's not nice, but most people would encourage anybody that's like at the start of their weight loss journey or whatever to come to the gym. So I really regret that. But in coming here, it's really interesting. When I first started coming to the gym, my kind of only focus really was about like, I want to lose more weight, I want to get skinny, I want to look good, kind of thing. That was kind of still where my head was at. Like, can I get to a size 8? Can I get to a size 6? Can I get to a size 4? Can I get, you know, and it's sort of this superficial, right? Like, it's about appearance kind of thing. And then I started doing weight training, and I fell in love with it, because it's not, for me, it's not about the looks or anything. It's about like, can I do an 11th rep when last week I could only do 10 reps, kind of thing. And it switched my mindset from stepping on the scales, losing weight, that being my achievement, stepping on the scales, losing weight, that being my achievement, to actually now my achievements are like me against me kind of thing. And, you know, just trying to lift heavier, trying to do more reps. And then that was kind of became my focus. And then I'm like, no, I want to be strong. Like I want to get stronger. I want muscles. I want to like not be, you know, the smallest version of myself. I actually want to be like here I'm
Yeah.
in this world kind of thing, you know, I'm strong, and
Physically and mentally.
physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And what I've on the mental side of things, what I have found, because I am in a really stressful job dealing with loads of trauma. I've got all my own lifetime of trauma that, by the way, I'm never going to be at a point where it's like, oh, I'm fixed, I'm cured, like I've done my therapy, I'm a new person now. Like it's going to be a lifelong of healing,
Of course.
recovery, and the gym is part of that now. Like the gym is where I can de-stress. It's like it, in terms of from a trauma survivor point of view, what I found, which really surprised me, was a lot of time in my life I've like dissociated, you know, so when it's a coping mechanism with trauma, right? Dissociation. And being in the gym and weightlifting makes me be in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way for me to like connect and be present
Mm-hmm.
here in this world.
It's therapy, isn't it?
It's totally therapeutic, totally. And like, I get to be present. I get to like, being a trauma survivor, my body has been like a place of unsafety, like a place of trauma, a place, you know, it's been the place where a lot of it's happened. So being able to kind of do something different with my body that's strong and for me, and
Wow.
yeah,
That's an amazing
it
way to
is.
that's
Yeah.
an amazing way to look at it.
Yeah.
That is an amazing way to look at
Yeah.
it, because like you're saying, all of your abuse came from your body.
Yeah.
But now you've kind of
Like repurposed it.
100%. You've completely flipped the script on it.
Yeah.
Whereas you're like, okay, cool, I abused you, but now let me make you strong again.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's actually a
Yeah.
real good way to say it. That's a
Yeah.
real good, fair play to you.
Yeah.
I'm genuine. That's actually really nice. Do you think toxic masculinity has a place to play in all of the trauma that's going on at the moment? So you obviously see a lot of it,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of it again on the internet with endless influencers, which like the way in which they talk about girls, to girls, just anything, like even like you see the way that they go on.
Yeah.
It's, and again, like I am a dad to a 9-year-old girl, so I look at this stuff and I'm just like, wow, if you was to talk to my
Yeah.
daughter like that, like what, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'd show you what my body would do, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's got a place to play in it? So you got like
Yes.
your Andrew Tate, and I'm
Yeah.
not digging Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
but
I
obviously
am.
he's yeah, but he's done well with what he's
Yeah.
done. He's done it for a reason. However he puts himself across, that's his way. He's happy with who he is. Clearly, probably not, to be fair. But you've got this like HS Tiki Taki.
Yeah.
You've got this other guy from up north that does something,
Yeah.
and the way in which they go about and they carry themselves, like they push, go and be an OnlyFans girl. I'm going to manage your account. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to make money.
Yeah.
And it's all about using your
Yeah.
body for money, and
Yeah.
that's all you're worth.
Yeah.
And it's very toxic.
It is.
It's very toxic.
It is.
Do you think that that type of masculinity has a place to play? So we call ourselves here alpha. So we're not bothered about the masculine part. We're just like, you know, team alpha. Like
Yeah.
we want to have an alpha mindset.
Yeah.
So male or female.
Yeah.
So an alpha mindset basically in my head means teach someone how to hustle, teach them how to grind, exactly what I got behind, teach them how to execute day-to-day life, level the person up that's next to you,
Yeah.
you know, grow as a team. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, or if you started up here or you're down there, grow together.
Yeah.
That's true alpha mentality. But the way that that masculinity thing works at the moment is like, be a real man. That was there 25 years ago, because if you're not doing physical labor, you're not making any money.
Yeah.
But there's different ways to do it, and it doesn't all revolve around money. So do you think that that now social media masculinity, let's say, do you think that's got a part to
I
play?
think it does. Yeah, yeah. I think it's another like negative influence on boys and girls that are growing up. I mean, I don't consume any of that crap.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about. And I think in the same way as I was talking about pornography, like I think it just has an influence on the way boys and girls view each other,
Yeah.
and then like what they believe is like each other's purpose on this earth. And you mentioned OnlyFans. Like, I can understand why a young pretty girl would put herself on OnlyFans. Like, I understand that. It makes total sense. They're being sold this story online on TikTok by guys or whatever, that you can make loads of money, you can have this amazing lifestyle. It's not like you're out on a street corner prostituting yourself, because obviously that's looked down upon. This is, boss girl. This is like self-employed, empowering woman kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the way it's sold
Yeah.
to girls. And they, you don't have to meet anyone, you don't have to touch anyone kind of thing. It's just messages, it's just pictures or whatever. And you can make big money. Obviously, you see like the Bonnie Blues and the Lily, what's her face, and the girl in America that, I forget her name. She was like a child TikToker, a child YouTuber, and there was a countdown to her 18th birthday. And then within something like 6 hours of her turning 18 and going on OnlyFans, she'd made like 20 million or something insane,
Wow.
insane. So you see all of that, and if you're pretty, of course, like, sign me up kind of thing. The reality is that the average income in the UK for OnlyFans girls is £120 a month. So think about everything they're having to do for that.
Yeah.
Once your pictures are out there,
They're out there.
videos are out there, they get blackmailed. So guys will be like, I found out who your mum is, your dad. I'm going to share this if you don't give me money, or, go out with me or have sex with me. Like, that happens all the time. Women have talked about how, when they started, their boundary was here. They were like, just going to do topless pictures or whatever. Now I'm going to do full nude. Now I'm going to do videos. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do that kind of thing. And over time,
Gets further and further.
Yeah. I think it's quite. So I distracted from your question about the manosphere, but I think all of these things are related. So then for boys, young men, teenagers, guys in their 20s kind of thing, they sort of are like, and I'm not giving them sympathy, I'm not giving them an excuse, but if that's the message being given to girls, young girls now, where, as a young guy, where do they fit in to this new world? You know what I mean? Like,
but they're the consumer.
Yeah, but it used to be, if you think about it, they had a role, right? Their role was provider, go to work, you've got your wife at home, they're going to have your baby. Like, I'm not saying I agree with that, but it was very kind of set, and men knew who they were, where they were, like where they belonged.
Yeah.
Like, they had a purpose, kind of thing. They did a hard day.
Let me do that back there.
Sorry.
Right?
They did a hard day's work. They might have had a pint after work. They go home to their dinner. They pay the paycheck. They provide for the family, and that's their job. Well, if women now, and I'm not giving this as an excuse, but if women now are being sold this lie that actually, like, oh, your empowerment, your independence is through OnlyFans, and this is like, we don't need guys anymore, like, kind of thing. Well, where does it leave? Like, where does it actually leave men? Like, what is their role, kind of thing? Who are they meant to be? And it's tricky.
Well, fair note, question yourself.
Yeah. So I think they're searching for something. So then if like, if like some guy on the internet is giving them a solution, kind of, selling them a solution.
That's what they do,
that's what I think it is. I could be wrong.
It's nuts though, because even if you look at the AI and look at OnlyFans, like some of the biggest accounts now, which like you see, they're AI accounts, not even real accounts.
Yeah, they're not even human.
Like, what? Yeah. So then, what are you programming into the people?
Yeah,
it's unreal. Like the way that the world is going is unreal. But
there is hope.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think there's hope.
Yeah.
So I think there's hope. I think that 50 years ago, like, drink driving was normal, and I don't know, smoking in a locked car with your baby was normal. Things that were normal 50 years ago or whatever are just not socially accepted anymore. So I think there is hope that if you can, like, empower women, educate boys, empower boys as well. That then we talked about like positive role models,
Yes.
you know, education, all of the like stable families. It's, you know, it's not one solution, but I think that if everybody kind of works together to like have a better future,
Yes.
then we can get there.
Of course.
But I think it will take, I don't know, I do think it will take some kind of like, I don't know, mini revolution or something to like, I don't know how to convince the masses that like, for example, the buying and selling of a woman's body, for example, like through the sex trade, whether that's prostitution, OnlyFans, stripping, whatever, is not okay. Like, it's just not okay. Like, if we want men and women to be equal, how can men and women ever be equal if men can buy women's bodies, like buy sex from women, kind of
or
thing,
or the
you
other
know?
way
Or
around. Yeah.
So, you know, and again, not coming from a place of prudishness around that. I'm coming from a place of like, actually, don't we want to have a society in which our little girls, you know, I know for a fact, I don't need to ask you, you would never want your little girl to go down that line.
Absolutely.
You know, no one does. I can't imagine there is a parent in this world that would be like, yeah, like I want my little precious baby or my, you know, my little girl to go into this line kind of thing. Or I want, you know, but I don't know. But there is something about the boys and the men. I think men and boys have to step up and take more responsibility for themselves. Because I do think that women, since like the 60s, 70s, or probably even before, we've been like organizing and gathering to like help other women. So like Kairos that I work for started in 30 years ago. Some other women's organizations started in like the 60s, 70s. That's how like the whole like refuge movement for like women to be able to run away to a safe house started by women, just normal women coming together and like opening an abandoned building together and like being like, okay, we're gonna use this place as a safe house and let women run away to it, kind of thing. So it was a movement. This is what I'm getting to. I think it takes like a movement. And I think women started organizing and started becoming a movement in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and still to this day. Like that's what I do for work. I feel like my work is being part of a movement to like help other women and empower other women. So I think men need to have some kind of movement, because it's not us to fix, like, please stop raping us, please stop beating us. Do you know what I mean? Please stop purchasing us. I think men have to somehow step up to be role models and mentors to like other boys. I don't know.
Honestly, as a gym owner, on a small scale, like we do mentor younger boys.
Yes.
So, and younger girls as well, but we do mentor younger boys. So that's on a very small scale.
Yeah, but it's important, I would say.
Absolutely.
I would say that's I think that's a perfect example of where it's, you know, I say movement, it's on a small scale, but imagine if every gym in the whole of the UK, all of the like cool, tough guys in the gym,
you have a bigger imprint.
Have a good impression on the younger guys coming up.
Being an actual alpha male. You know, flip the script on being an actual alpha male. It's not this toxic stuff they're seeing online. Being alpha also means, you know what, you can cry. You know, you can hug your mom, you can hug your wife, you can hug your daughter. It's absolutely fine. But it's just not seen as being alpha. But like alpha is don't cry. Like, but if I want to cry, I want to cry. I'm sorry. It's just, but it's real, right? Like, you know,
exactly.
showing emotion isn't a bad thing.
Emotions.
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about how it went?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Okay, I want to say, I always end these with something nice.
Yes.
You smiled a lot all the way through it. The biggest smile you gave me in that however long we've just done was when you mentioned your new partner.
Aww.
Country Mile, like this. So whatever the gentleman's name is, and I hope he'll watch it, Sean. Sean, fair play to you. Because for you to go through what you've gone through, and be that open about it, in the manner in which you are, is massive. It's not easy to talk. I've got so many things that I have inside me that I struggle to talk about. And I would say that my trauma and your trauma, although completely different, your trauma is a lot more it's going to play an impact on your life from a very young age. So for you to do what you're doing now and how you've kind of fallen into it from the picture on the wall to deciding your path and then going down the right path and finding such a solid guy who now you're kind of content with and happy with, that he's played a massive part in your life. So we'll just say well done to him as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and for you, just coming in here, talking about it to a guy, that's massive courage.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Actually,
not
it's
easy.
been quite healing for me, I dare say.
No, but that's not easy.
Yeah.
And like, essentially, I'm a stranger to you.
Yeah.
So although we go to the same gym and we see each other and we high five and we might like each other's Instagram posts, all that, I am a stranger. And it's not always easy opening up to a stranger. So I appreciate the daylight side.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for doing everything you're doing, because you're being a role model to my daughter.
Thank you.
So it's all good. Okay.